What brought me to the work of compassion was that my PhD was on interdependence theory, and that was an international relations theory around in the 1980s when we all held out hope that globalization was going to bring us closer together. And essentially that was because countries were trading with each other more, they were very reliant on the emerging financial markets, and as individuals we were all travelling and connecting to people in other countries. And importantly, we are also seeing atrocities happening in real time. So in part, interdependence theory promised social change through these external factors. But what we realise now is that external pressures aren't enough to change our behaviour, because we were supposed to see our common humanity and stop all conflicts. We were supposed to see in real time children drowning and being bombed and say enough. So we have to ask ourselves, how can we bear to look at the suffering we are creating? So obviously those external factors weren't enough. And my work is around how do we change from the inside out, because it is our compassion that is the antidote to the violence we create. So I'm committed to investigating how our creative and compassionate selves can assist us in those conscious actions that we all need to take in our daily lives to truly say enough. Well, I feel the work of the GCC is very important in terms of assisting us in individually supporting, but also collectively supporting that aim of implementing compassion and justice as the foundation of all human societies. The one thing I'd like people to know about compassion is that, as we know, compassion has been around as a value for centuries. Every religion has compassion mentioned in it somewhere. So as a value, it's an inherent aspect of who we are. But the exciting thing that's happening now in the work around the world around compassion is that the science and the evidence base is finding that compassion is also a motivation. And our motivations are very important because they support our thoughts, feelings, and actions. From compassion, we will act very differently. We will act, think, and feel very differently from a motivation of compassion than from a motivation, say, of revenge. So I think for me, the most important thing is that compassion is now the basis of evidence base, and bringing that into all the work that we do in our organisations and our communities is vital. A world that has compassion as its foundation would see, we would really be able to see the suffering in the world. We would be willing and resourced to see the suffering in the world. Too often the suffering around us we're not willing to see, or we're not resourced to see and take action. But a world where compassion is the basis would be that very deep capacity to connect to each other around what is your suffering and how can I support you in that suffering.